It's time for another module video for my Urban Bug Out Bag version 3.0. In the past few videos, we've gone over the big three of prepping, which is food, water, and shelter. So now let's go through the remaining modules of the Bug Out Bag. So since the last video we did was on the food module, let's do the modules that help prepare that food. So starting off first with fire. So this is a small little fire kit, fairly simple in its design, but it's one of the more important modules just because fire is such an important part of any kind of survival or prepping thing. You want to have fire whether you're in a rural environment, urban environment. You want to have multiple methods of starting fire. So let's get started now with this video featuring my fire module. So as you can see, I have a Ziploc bag covering the fire module. That's just to help protect it from any kind of water for long-term storage. I want all the contents of this to be dry. So for this fire module, I wanted to apply the rule of three for the contents. So rather than just have one method of starting fire, I have three methods of starting fire. And so I have a primary method, a backup method, and a backup to the backup. And that's just with the assumption that something will probably fail when I really need to use it. And if that does happen, I'll be ready to go for it. So I applied the rule of three for the methods of starting the fire as in addition to the fire tinder. So what I'm going to be lighting initially, I wanted to have three different types of tinder and three methods of starting the fire. So let's open this up now and go through the contents. So the container itself is just a small case that's used for digital camera, and as you can see it's orange because orange in my video, the color of prepping, represents fire. So just by seeing the color orange, I'll know that this is my fire kit, and hopefully others will kind of relate to that as well. So it's just a small orange case. It's fairly lightweight and just helps keep all the items secured in one particular location. Let's open it up. As you see, I have a nice little carabiner over there for attaching it externally to the backpack. So we have a pouched area over here, and then we have this strap that's securing some of the items. So let's just start here on the left first. So the first item that you'll probably notice, again, I tried to go with orange as much as I could for the items included in here. This is a fire starter ferrocerium rod. This one is made by Ultimate Survival Technologies. It's the Ultimate Survival Technologies Blast Match. It's an awesome fire starter. As you can see, look at how big that rod is. I mean, it's just huge. Here's in comparison with my fingers. And just produces a large amount of sparks for starting a fire. So this is a great option for that. Let's continue on with some of the fire tinder that we have in here. Actually, next is actually another fire starter. So just some waterproof matches. These are made by Koblenz, and there's nothing too much to say about this. They work really well. So some matches. So that's a second option for starting a fire. The first being with ferrocerium rod. Next, I have some fire tinder. I just have one of the wet fire starting tinder. This works extremely well. I've tested it a lot over the years and done it with various competitive testing with other fire tinders, and it works really well. It could be completely soaked and it's still going to light up for you, and you can just scrape it off as need be. So just one wet fire. Next, I did a review of this earlier and I really enjoyed it. It's made by Live Fire. It's the Live Fire emergency fire starter, and it's kind of like a, as you can see, this one's used a little bit because always trying to test things out. It's basically kind of like having a bunch of cotton that's soaked in almost a hard wax or Vaseline type thing. It lights extremely well. It works when wet, and you can kind of control the flame using the tin on here, so you can kind of hold it as a handle here. I'll put a link to the video that I did of the product review for Live Fire. But I really enjoyed it, wanted to include it in my fire module. So some Live Fire. Next over here, nothing too fancy here. We have just one Bic lighter. I just really like having Bic lighters. I think they start all the time, basically in my testing, and I've used them even if they've been sitting for multiple years. They still start with no problem. So again, I have an orange one here just to represent fire. I also think it's easier if you were to happen to drop this in the grass. It's easier to find an orange one than it is, say, a black one. Now let's open up the Altoids tin. So in the Altoids tin, I just have some cotton balls that are soaked in Vaseline, so in petroleum jelly. This makes a great economical fire tinder. You just light it up with the spark over here. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm in the city, but I'll put some links showing some of the footage of that. But this is just a very economical way of doing it, and it's also quite efficient. So this is probably my preferred method for fire tinder. It's cheap, and I just try to stuff as many as I can in here. I've actually used a few of them for the next module video that I've been working on. But just some cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly. So those are all the items that I include in my fire module. As you can see, it's pretty basic, but this is all important stuff. So again, I have 3 methods of starting the fire and then 3 methods of tinder. And I've tested all of these and they work out well. And I'm just going to assume that one of them will probably fail if need be. Maybe the cotton balls will get wet, even if I have it in the Ziploc bag. Maybe the striker will break or something like that. And if that does happen, I'll have alternative methods for starting a fire for a survival situation. So again, I've included a PDF document, even though this is probably a basic one, but it still provides everything that I have included in here. And you could click that in the description box below to download that PDF. That's going to do it for this video featuring my fire module. Again, all the stuff in the fire module is fairly inexpensive, but it's very important stuff to include in any kind of emergency kit, and I like having multiple methods. So in addition to the items that I include in here, I also have a few additional fire starting methods included in other parts of the bug out bag, just in case I were to lose this entire kit. For example, say if I had it attached to the bob and it fell off, I would still have a Bic lighter or some matches that are stored elsewhere. So we'll see that in a future video. Let's continue on now with the cooking module for my bug out bag, and we're going to be using this fire module for using the cooking module. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and hope you guys are enjoying watching this video series featuring my updated Urban Bug Out Bag version 3.0. Please leave your comments below in the comment section, download the PDF document, and stay tuned for the next video in the series featuring the cooking module. Again, this is my fire module for my Urban Bug Out Bag version 3.0. See you guys.